Okay, wow, you've been busy. Articles, travel guides, the works. You really went all in on Kosovo for this deep dive.
Well, something about it just drew me in. Like there's so much more to it than what we usually hear.
I hear that. And after looking through all the stuff you sent, honestly, I get it. It's a side of Kosovo we don't often see. So ready to dive in and really uncover what makes this place tick.
Absolutely. I think people might be surprised by what we find.
Let's do it. Right off the bat, I was struck by the history. We're talking Roman emperors,
Yeah.
Ottoman sultans.
Centuries of different empires and cultures all leaving their mark.
It's a lot to process.
Well,
Did any of that stand out to you in particular?
what gets me is how visible it still is, even today, especially in Pristina, the capital.
Oh, yeah. In what way?
Like, you'll be walking around and see a mosque from the Ottoman era right next to the Cathedral of St. Mother Teresa. It's wild.
Wow. Just seeing those two buildings side by side must make you think.
Right. It really speaks to this blend of influences you were talking about. And it's not just buildings, it's woven into the whole culture.
And speaking of Pristina, there was that photo you sent of the newborn monument. It's hard to miss.
Ah, yes. The newborn monument, such a powerful symbol.
What's the story there?
So it was unveiled back in 2008 when Kosovo declared independence. And they repaint it every year, often reflecting current events.
I love that. So creative. It's like this bold statement, literally saying newborn.
Exactly. And then there's the National Library. Have you seen pictures of it?
Yeah, it looks more like a spaceship landed in Pristina, not a library.
Yeah.
What's the story there?
It's this really imposing building, all domes and arches. Apparently, it houses a huge collection of books and manuscripts.
It's like they're saying, we have stories to tell and we're ready to write new ones.
Yeah.
But there's more to Kosovo than just the city, right?
Oh, absolutely. If you want natural beauty, you have to check out the Rugova Valley.
What's so special about it?
Imagine, towering limestone cliffs, these lush green valleys, the Pech Bistrica River winding through it.
Sounds incredible. A far cry from the city.
It really shows the diversity of the landscape. And tucked away in those mountains, you've got the Visoki Dechani Monastery.
Right, that was in one of the articles. It's UNESCO World Heritage Site, right?
Yeah, from the 14th century. It's known for its frescoes and Serbian Orthodox architecture.
It's amazing how much history is packed into one small country. From ancient monasteries to modern monuments like the newborn. And even the food tells a story, like that flija dish you mentioned. That one really caught my eye.
Oh, flija is special. Imagine layers and layers of this crepe-like dough, baked slowly with yogurt, butter.
Slowly baked. How long are we talking?
Hours. Often over an open fire.
Wow, that's dedication. What makes it so unique?
It's more than just a dish. It's a whole tradition, often made for special occasions. And it really represents that blend of Albanian and Ottoman influences we were talking about.
It's like each bite tells a story of cultural exchange. Makes you wonder what other culinary adventures await. So after reading about flija, I have to ask what else is cooking in Kosovo? Does that same mix of influences show up in other dishes too?
Oh, totally. You'll find everything, really. Like on one hand, you've got those Turkish-inspired pastries.
Baklava and those kinds of things.
Exactly. And then you'll also find those hearty Albanian dishes, like tavi kosi, which is this baked lamb dish. It's a classic there.
Sounds like a delicious history lesson. And it seems like more and more people are getting a chance to experience it firsthand. I noticed in the travel guides you send, tourism in Kosovo seems to be really taking off right now.
Yeah, it's definitely booming.
Why do you think that is?
I think part of it is Kosovo is still relatively undiscovered, especially compared to some of its neighbors in the Balkans.
So it's still got that off-the-beaten-path feel.
Exactly. So it feels very authentic, not quite as crowded. Plus, it's really affordable, especially since they use the euro there.
Right. I remember reading about that. That's kind of unusual, isn't it? I mean, Kosovo isn't part of the Eurozone.
It's a unique situation for sure. So after declaring independence, they decided to just adopt the euro as their currency.
Interesting. So even though they're not technically in the Eurozone, they just said, we're using the euro.
Pretty much. They don't have their own euro coins or anything, or the same regulations as the official Eurozone members.
But for someone traveling there, it's basically like any other place using the euro.
Yeah, you can use euros almost everywhere. You might see some old German marks floating around, which is kind of cool.
Oh, wow. A blast from the past. So should travelers be prepared to use cash just in case?
Yeah, it's always a good idea to have some cash, just in case. Card payments aren't as widely accepted yet, especially outside the main cities.
Good tip. Now, you mentioned that Kosovo is very eager to welcome tourists. But As with any place, I imagine there are some things to keep in mind to be a responsible traveler there.
Oh, absolutely. It's super important to be mindful and respectful, especially given the history there. Like, even learning a few basic Albanian phrases goes a long way.
It shows that you're trying,
Right.
even if it's just a few words.
Exactly. And I think it's also important to remember that, while Kosovo has made amazing progress since its independence, there are still some tensions with Serbia. So probably best to steer clear of talking about politics and just be sensitive to that history.
It's a good reminder. Being a respectful traveler means being aware of those sensitivities, those nuances. And it sounds like Kosovo has layers of that, which just makes it all the more fascinating. You mentioned venturing outside of Pristina earlier. Are there other places that really capture that spirit of Kosovo?
Oh, for sure. If you're into architecture, you have to see Prizren.
What's special about Prizren?
It's got this amazing mix of Ottoman and Byzantine architecture. You'll see mosques and churches right next to each other.
So it's like we were talking about in Pristina.
Exactly. It's really something.
It must be incredible to see it all firsthand. Now, for those of us who love nature, what about those breathtaking landscapes? Anything beyond the Rugova Valley?
Well, if you're feeling adventurous, there's always the Shar Mountains.
The Shar Mountains?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What's so special about them?
They're also known as the Beshket I Namuna in Albanian.
Hold on. How do you even say that?
Beshket I Namuna. It means the accursed mountains.
The accursed mountains. Okay, now you have my attention. Why are they called that?
Well, every place has its stories. It's part of what makes exploring so fascinating, right? Uncovering those hidden layers.
I couldn't agree more. That's what's been so amazing about this deep dive. We've covered so much ground, centuries of history, the energy of Pristina, those incredible dishes.
And we did it all without leaving our chairs.
It's true. Makes you want to experience it all firsthand, doesn't it? To see that newborn monument for yourself, to walk those ancient streets, to taste Fleja straight from the source.
I know I'm ready to book a ticket.
This deep dive has been incredible. We've gotten a glimpse into a country that is both ancient and brand new, full of surprises around every corner. It's a place that really rewards curiosity, that willingness to really dig deeper. So to everyone listening, if you're looking for a destination that's off the beaten path, a place that's bursting with history, culture, and natural beauty, put Kosovo on your list. You won't regret it.